What's up, y'all? It's good to be back. Sorry about the little hiatus, but as you can see, I just moved. So here I am in my brand new studio, right? But we don't need a real studio. All we need is a bed. That's why it's easy to play drums without drums. Now, moving right along. This is going to be a fairly short lesson. I just want to cover a basic topic, all right? So, what we're going to do is we're going to go back to playing beats. I know we took a little, side path there, and we went off, we played some rudiments, we talked about fills. Now let's get back to grooves, or beats. So what I want to do here is, what we've done in the past, actually, is we've moved the bass drum around. The bass drum being the right foot. We took the bass drum, and just to review really quick, we played our basic rock beat, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and, right? Where the bass drum's playing all 4 quarter notes. Actually, that's 4 on the floor. The basic rock beat, the bass drum plays 1 and 3. All right? Then we took the bass drum and we moved it around on 1/8 notes. So, for example, we played the same thing as in the basic rock beat on our hands. We were like 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 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 1. And I was just moving my bass drum around on different 1/8 notes. Okay? Then we moved on and we talked about 16th note grooves. And we experimented by moving the bass drum around on different 16th notes. So for example, and I'll count 16th notes here, but I'm going to be playing the same thing. 1/8 notes on my right hand, 2 and 4 with my left. Okay? And we moved the bass drum around. So check it out. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1. Okay? Now let's get back to talking about 1/8 notes and all the different variations we have with 1/8 notes. And we're going to move away from playing with our bass drum, and we're going to start mixing up our left hand. Just a little bit, because you really want to keep that 2 and 4 flowing, okay? 2 and 4, it's called the backbeat, right? Those are your backbeats. 1, 2, 3, 4. So those are really important. But sometimes we can do away with maybe one of those beats, either 2 or 4. And we could add something. We could add another 1/8 note before or after the 2 and the 4. So that's what I want to do today, is experiment by adding some extra notes with your left hand. So for instance, say we play our basic rock beat, right, just with the hands. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, right? So that's cool. Now let's add the and of 3 before 4. So it sounds like this. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And now you just add your bass drum on 1 and 3. Check it out. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 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 1. So that's a nice little exercise to start moving around our left hand. And you can do other things too, which may feel kind of weird because we're so used to playing 2 and 4 with our left hand. Say for instance, we play the snare drum just on the and of 1 and then 4. Okay, and you can do whatever you want with your bass drum, but try to keep it simple now because we're doing something brand new. So again, I said the and of 1 and then 4 with the snare drum. Well, with our left hand on the snare drum. So it sounds like this. And I'll keep the bass drum fairly simple, but I'll be playing some different 1/8 note patterns with my right foot, okay? But to start out with, just play 1 and 3 with your right foot. So here we go. 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 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 3 and 4 and 1. So that's pretty cool. Now another thing to do that I really want you to focus on when you're practicing beats, any sort of beat that you come up with. Don't get in the habit of just playing a one measure beat. What I mean is, well, a one measure phrase, okay? What I mean is you want to expand your phrases. So if we just play one measure, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we repeat the exact same thing, it sometimes gets monotonous. It can get boring, okay? I mean, sure, that kind of beat has its place, and more often than not, that's what you're going to play. But if you're just playing by yourself, too, it's really fun to play a two-measure phrase, meaning the second measure is slightly different from the first measure, and then that whole two-measure set or phrase then repeats itself. So it requires you to remember what you played in each of those measures, because you have now 8 whole quarter notes to remember. Okay, this sounds kind of confusing, but let me just demonstrate. I'm going to play a standard beat in the first measure, meaning I'm going to keep my left hand on 2 and 4, and then on the second measure I'm going to vary it a bit, put maybe an extra 8th note on my left hand, and then I'm going to repeat that whole 2 measures. And you're going to see how it starts to sound really interesting when you come up with 2-measure phrases as opposed to 1-measure phrases. So here we go. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 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 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. See that? 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Second measure. 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. Okay? So I just played a 2-measure phrase, and right there I went 1 and 2 and. So that was my extra note. I played 2, but then I played and as well. Okay? Now another little challenging thing, which I know you've dealt with before, is just lining your left hand up with your right hand. So that's what this is good for too. So we're moving the snare drum around on 8th notes. Eventually we're going to start moving the snare drum around on 16th notes, and we're going to start doing a lot of cool things with our hi-hat or our right hand, because if you watch my demonstrations, you've seen me do stuff like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So a lot of cool stuff to look forward to. Hope you keep on tuning in. Thanks a lot.